To research my short film, I studied various other professional productions on YouTube. I used Virgin Media Shorts. These short films were selected from a competition to ensure high quality films. The research was extremely helpful as I was able to establish the conventions of professional short films, such as the way in which sound was used, as well as different filming techniques. When researching my short film and its target audience, I did not have to use the internet too much as I had visited the location many times in the past. I used the word formatting software, Pages, to create and design my survey, which I then printed out to give to select members of my target audience. I created a simple questionnaire using Pages and also the same software to create the different charts. This was extremely easy as Pages has a charts option where you simply edit the data and labels to create clear, organised pie charts. After I had created my first edit, I used a focus group to gain important feedback from members of my target audience. To make this, I used extremely basic equipment, simply an iPhone for the filming. I then edited the video on the free software iMovie. This was a very simple task which required very little editing, just cuts and inserting titles. iMovie is very basic and easy to use, hence why this was my choice when editing my focus group. Throughout the whole process, I was documenting everything I did by using the blogging website WordPress. This site enabled me to easily translate my thought process into understandable and well-presented written blogs. Furthermore, it allowed me to upload photos. These would typically be screenshots of whatever I was doing. This helped, especially during the editing of my film, poster and review. By uploading screenshots, I was able to visually present the ideas that I made, which showed my creative thought process as well as the technical steps I made to achieve the final product. Through the categorization of posts, I was able to document my progress in different areas, which also helped show my progress from research and planning all the way to my finalized products. Furthermore, I was able to embed my videos. To do this, I used YouTube. This is the most popular video sharing site on the internet and is extremely easy to use, as you can upload projects straight from iMovie and Final Cut onto the site. From there, I can embed the link to play on my blog. Using a YouTube channel shows the progress of my work as I uploaded my animatic, failed shots and outtakes, and my first and then my final edit. When filming, we used a Canon XF100. This was extremely professional and surprisingly easy to use. The camera films in Full HD at 60 frames per second, allowing for seamless filming, even when the camera is moving. In my last short film, the shots in which the camera was moving were very pixelated and subsequently looked extremely unprofessional. The camera's manual focus setting allowed for focus pulls and manipulating the focus to suggest confusion and impaired vision. Another extremely useful feature of this camera was its excellent ability to film in low light. Although two shots do look pixelated in the dark, this was as a result of exporting the shots rather than filming. The shots that look best in the dark are the flashback shots, which are high quality with very low lighting. Although the camera was extremely useful and professional, I had problems exporting the shots from the SD card to my memory stick and Mac. To do this, I had to download a specific program to export the shots. Although this software was meant to be professional, I had various problems with it. For example, I had filmed pretty much everything other than the flashbacks on the first day of filming. However, the software did not export the last 16 shots properly, and as a result, their files were completely corrupted, and I had to refilm them, which put me under a lot of pressure to finish my short film before the deadline. I edited all of my short film on Final Cut Pro. The reason I used this was because I was fairly familiar with the software as well as the freedom of editing on it. One of the most important aspects of my film was the use of filters. I used a Lee Makia filter which decreased the saturation levels of my shots, making them look more crisp and professional. Another key filter was the camcorder effect. This effect allowed me to give the audience an insight of the antagonist's point of view, whilst also distancing the audience from the character. This is because I did not apply the camcorder effect on the POV shots from the protagonist's view, making the audience empathise with him and feel a connection, whereas by letting them see through the lens of his recording device, they never actually fully connect with him, causing him to feel distant and less human. To create this effect, I used the same filter as all the other shots and added the camcorder filter on top. To get a more gritty atmosphere, I applied the bad TV filter on top of these, which meant these shots looked grainy, making the audience feel more uncomfortable. Another use of filters was my title shot. Here I just used a basic title option and then cut the clip into many smaller clips. Every other clip I applied the bad TV filter to cause it to flicker like a glitch. This links in with the use of camcorder and acts as symbolism. Unlike the AS task, we had to create the music for our short film. To do this, I used GarageBand. Although I have experience with this and know how to record and play instruments on it, I have never created film score, so this was very different to my previous experiences with the program. I used a synthesizer called Event Horizon to create the low rumbling background music. To add atmosphere, I added delay and reverb to this keyboard, which created a more cinematic effect. I then used a different keyboard to create the pulsating sound during the chases. This was a Touareg Moonbase, and I applied overdrive and distortion to create a sinister, more powerful sound, which was slightly inspired by the score in the film Inception. To create my film poster, I used Photoshop. I was unhappy with the photo I took using a Sony DSLR camera, but this software allowed me to create the other features of a poster. I used dafont.com to find and download a unique font representative of my short film. I was more happy with my draft poster as I could use more complex techniques in Photoshop, such as using layer masks to give more depth to the poster. I used a template in Photoshop to create the billing block, which looked professional. The other features of my poster were very simple and did not require too much knowledge of the software to create. To make my film review, I used Adobe InDesign. After studying many Empire film reviews, I was finally able to create a replica using this professional program. This was hard as everything had to be perfect in order to look like the actual magazine. I had to create columns, text boxes and shapes individually to create the final conglomerate review. The hardest part of this whole process was fitting all of the text within the columns, as every time I altered the font type and or size of the font, the text shifted up or down, meaning text would be off the page or two large gaps would be created. The final process of this whole project is now editing these 4 evaluation questions. To do this, I plan to use iMovie, which is simple for adding clips and images, and QuickTime Player, a built-in software on my laptop which offers high quality audio recording.